I've got a little theory that songs about music are always really successful. So we're both two huge Rush fans. We've got tickets to see the band in concert for the first time next year. And in the lead up, we're doing a series called Road to Rush, where we listen to every single Rush album in order and share our thoughts with you lovely people. This time, it's the album 2112. No, I'm joking, of course, it's the legendary 2112, Rush's breakthrough studio album.
Yeah.
Before I say what you think, I want to know your own personal history with the album.
It was one of those where people kept saying you need to listen to it, it's the pinnacle, it's where it was at. And I avoided it for many years, not necessarily purposefully. But yeah, it seemed to be a bit of a landmark sort of area that I've only just I've listened a couple of times before, but not properly. So yeah.
This was my first proper one, my second proper one. I got Hemispheres, a car boot for £1, listened to it, and then Googled Rush, and they were like, 2112. So I listened to 2112, but I was just a bit too young to understand it. I think at that point I didn't understand enough about lyrics in songs to really get the message, so I was only listening for the music. And on the music alone, it just didn't speak to me. But this time round, coming back to it years later, and having been a Rush aficionado, there's an instant quantum leap on the song 2112 from the last album.
Yeah, and I think when I first listened to it was a long time ago, and now I'm a bit more musically eloquent in things of that nature. It stood out, that's that, that sort of thing.
And again, just starting with that synth, starting with that white noise, it's just totally different from the other three albums, isn't it?
The sort of ethereal, spacey element came more into play of the entire album. A lot more guitar-y effects, plenty more wetness, and delay and so on,
Yeah. It was just a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it. It was one of those where as soon as it kicked in, like I say, as soon as the overture kicked in, it was just brilliant. We were just there. It was the right amount of heavy, it was the right amount of production, everything's just right.
Yeah, and did you think it was The Who that started it first?
Well, I've got a little theory that songs about music are always really successful. And 2112 is about music being taken away in the future and being rediscovered.
Yeah.
So another example, Your Song by Elton John is one of the biggest songs of all time. It's a song about music. Piano Man, Billy Joel, again, it's a song about music.
Yeah.
There are so many songs about music.
Play that funky music.
Yeah. Any song that's kind of about music and the joy, Spirit of the Radio later on in the career always does really well.
That's a proper concept I've never actually considered.
If you think about hit songs, you think songs to do with music. Queen, Radio Gaga.
Yeah, I'm just about to say that.
So this, for me, fits into that little canon.
Just hit me with your rhythm stick, Cal. I mean, it's a musical implement.
Yeah. But I tell you what, I absolutely loved the song 2112. Did not care for the rest of the album.
That was the point I was sort of going to intend with after that, sort of essential masterpiece. I was a bit underwhelmed. I was expecting more of the beastie pop side, but I suppose that hadn't been imagined yet. These were sort of prog songs cut down a bit, and I just felt the level didn't really dynamically it didn't sort of get bigger or smaller. Obviously it dropped down to sort of more chill out. Sort of Twilight Zone, for example. That's when it has the more subtly timey bits where you sort of don't realise what's happening, with the polyrhythms and so on.
I really enjoyed that song.
That was probably absolutely.
Just because it felt like we were going into another world. It was ethereal, like the acoustic guitar blended with the electric.
Brought you along.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
My favourite part of the whole album, Alex Lifeson's guitar solo in the instrumental bit at the start of 2112 during the overture. That one,
when it goes into the ride section,
and it sort of goes to halftime. That's my favourite moment on and I think it's one of those albums, it's of its time, in the sense that if it came out today, people would just either buy or stream the song 2112 and not bother with the rest of it. But there was no way to do that at the time. You had to buy the whole album, to hear the song 2112.
Course, and you couldn't skip them either.
Yeah, it literally feels like they had a bunch of leftovers from the fly-by-night sessions and just slung them on the B-side. I was laughing at Passage to Bangkok. It has this really low riff, and then he just throws in the lick over the top of it. And it's almost like Neil Peart came in and he's like, guys, I've got these lyrics of this song, Passage to Bangkok, and they're like, well, the song sounds a bit like Led Zeppelin, and Neil Peart's just Renasia, it's worked, it's done. Favourite song off the album?
I think obviously Barry's I'm going to say Twilight Zone, just because the sort of the natural progression of the beat sort of really drew me in. Sort of that one went on again straight away. Rather than playing it through.
Yeah, it's got to be 2112 for me, the title track, because
what from the second half?
From the second half. Tears, that one with the Mellotron.
Yeah.
That one took me out of where I was, and I really liked it. You know, the rest of the side it felt a bit sort of samey, and then that one really took me out of it.
Might say a bit B-side, although it was the B-side.
But then that one came on, Tears came on, and I was like, whoa, we're in somewhere different now.
Yeah.
You know, the first use of keyboard, I believe, on a Rush song with the Mellotron strings on that, and that was, you know, that's massively important for them, innit? Because that's saying where they're going to go. What are you giving it out of 10?
A very, very strong 7.
I'm giving it an 8. Same as Fly By Night. It's getting an 8 out of 10 because, like Fly By Night, there's a quantum leap forward between this and the last album.
And I suppose that's what it was. This is what drew them out of the sort of where they were into.
This took them away from blues rock, from Led Zeppelin, from opening for Kiss. They were their own band at this point. They were headlining at this point. This proved that they were headliners. Next week we've got the band's first live album, All the World's a Stage.
All right, okay.
Yeah, that's got pretty much all the best tracks that we've talked about so far.
You know how I feel about live albums.
Yeah.
Sort of interesting for me.
Yeah. It's a double as well. So
even better.
What's your favourite song on 2112 by Rush? Let us know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.